Finally, he understands
It's a law.
Now I understand why he's doing a comedy with the South Park creators.
That makes
Because
sense.
he appreciates white comedians that make fun of black people.
There you go.
And they've done that brilliantly for decades.
Yeah, that's true.
And he would never want to, break one of his own laws.
No, that's true.
I mean, didn't they have a character called Token on the South Park show?
Yeah, they do.
Which I'm sure Kendrick is a big fan of.
Andrew Schultz is one of those guys who, and I know this because one of his arguments to defend his offensive comedy was, well, South Park is offensive. But he had presented an example from South Park that Token Black is funny because I guess his name is Token Black. But the reason why Token Black is actually funny is because he is his name is a caricature that people portray in shows, but he's not a caricature himself. He's like the most normal kid out of all of them with a normal family.
The opposite of the stereotype.
And that is the joke. Andrew Schultz seems to believe that the name Token Black, calling him Token Black, is the joke. And I feel like that goes over his head, which is why Kendrick's line went straight over his head. He went back to catch it because he thought it was about him. He also went on to believe, he goes, oh, rap is so irrelevant now that you got to talk about podcasters for clout. When Kendrick has the #1 song in the country for a long time. He's had 2 #1 songs, so it's Squabble Up and Not Like Us.
Yeah, right. And then, I mean...
a #1 album, and even Andrew Schultz's podcast isn't even #1. No one even knows who this guy is.
Oh, man. Funny you find out about him like this, too.
Exactly like this. Exactly like this. And the reason why he also brought up the South Park example is because Kendrick is currently working with the South Park creators. They're making a movie.
Yeah, and then he blames them for doing the exact same thing, and Kendrick just, not really minding it there.
Obviously, there are contexts to be found, right, with what South Park does and how Kendrick is writing his new show, which is about a black man who's dating a white woman and finds out that at one point his ancestors were owned by hearse.
Interesting.
And so that's an interesting dynamic that I can't wait to see how Kendrick delivers.
Yeah.
And that is like a nuance that Andrew Schultz doesn't understand. Like, he'd probably think that's funny because her ancestors owned his ancestors, right?
Yeah.
That's probably why it's funny. Not that there's a relationship dynamic to be figured out with that. Just that, haha, her ancestors owned his because of slavery.
So simple.
And the most important point is that Kendrick wasn't talking to this man. He was talking to other black men about this.
Damn. Didn't even get caught in the crossfire. This guy put himself there.
He just jumped right in
front, It wasn't for him.
Yeah, maybe he's a good man after all. Taking one for black men,
Andrew Schultz?
Taking a bullet for black men.